Morning friends, happy Wednesday. How the heck are you? Not sure where to start with this one because it's really hard to be objective without being cruel, but let's give it a go. If you didn't know, Kate was out and about working yesterday, giving a speech for a whole 26 seconds, preaching to other business leaders about the importance of money, time, families, early years development, basically all the stuff that we heard in 2015 that's being recycled again. And I actually feel sorry for Kate because I think she's been set up yet again for massive failures. Let's start with the basics. The speech could not have been written by Kate. How do we know that the speech wasn't written by Kate? Because she looked at her notes 15 times in 26 seconds. I was filmed by the BBC on Dragon's Den for nearly 2 hours with no backup, no support and no notes. It's not that hard to do if you practice. Kate also has zero experience of proper work or being a business leader, but was there with business leaders in the community, including the ex-England men's football manager, lecturing them on what to do. It's off the scale pontification, which, to be honest, literally just winds people up. No credible information in Kate's speech, no stats, no data, really poor delivery of her words. She rushed them, she mumbled some words, she got some words wrong. When is Kate going to find her true direction in life? She's been in the royal family for 2 decades now, and nothing she's ever worked on has ever given her joy because I assume it's never given her joy because there's never been any credible results. Last point, the British press, including Hello magazine, continue to laud her. Kate's breakthrough speech. There's literally no balanced journalism going on here, apart from probably this here and you guys watching it. There's absolutely no balance. The press could have said, Kate made some important points. Unfortunately, the delivery was a bit fluffed. You can have journalistic balance. It isn't necessary to laud someone completely in the style of the Emperor's New Clothes, because that doesn't help anyone. As ever, my thoughts, comments, opinions are not important. Yours are. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. Have a brilliant day.
In a nation that prides itself on historical resilience and strategic prowess, the revelation of Britain's woefully inadequate air and missile defence systems stands as a glaring indictment of institutional negligence. This national-scale oversight, laid bare in a recent parliamentary inquiry, echoes the kind of high-level mismanagement that plagues even the most visible figures in British society. Take, for instance, the Princess of Wales's recent appearance at a summit aimed at shaping the future of workforces, a brief, stumbling address that exposed a similar pattern of poor preparation and execution. Both scenarios reveal a deeper systemic flaw. From safeguarding the homeland to delivering coherent public messages, Britain's establishments are routinely positioning themselves, and the public, for inevitable disappointment. It's a setup for failure that spans from military strategy to monarchical posturing, underscoring a culture of complacency funded by the taxpayer. Let's start with the defence debacle, which has sent shockwaves through Westminster and beyond. A comprehensive review, released just this week, paints a damning picture of the United Kingdom's readiness to counter aerial threats. Experts and lawmakers alike have highlighted that the country possesses virtually no integrated system to defend against missiles or invading aircraft. In an era where global tensions simmer with the potential for rapid escalation, think hypersonic weapons or drone swarms, Britain lacks even a basic blueprint for protection. The report warns that without urgent investment in multi-layered defences, similar to those employed by allies like Israel with its Iron Dome, the nation is exposed to catastrophic risks. Resources are stretched thin, with shortages in munitions, personnel, and technology exacerbating the vulnerability. This isn't mere oversight. It's a deliberate underfunding that leaves critical infrastructure, from power grids to hospitals, hanging by a thread. The government's response? Pledges for new factories to produce arms and drones. But these come across as reactive band-aids rather than proactive strategy. For years, briefings and analyses have flagged this gap. dating back to mid-2025 documents from Parliamentary Research Services that called for a European-style collaborative defence architecture. Yet, action has been glacial. Critics argue this stems from a broader institutional arrogance, assuming that NATO alliances or outdated deterrents will suffice in a multipolar world. The result is a military posture that's not just inadequate, but dangerously illusory, setting the stage for failure when threats materialize. Taxpayers foot the bill for this complacency, pouring billions into a system that promises security, but, honestly, delivers exposure. It's a betrayal of trust, where high-level planning breakdowns allow existential risks to fester unchecked. This pattern of institutional inadequacy finds a strikingly parallel in the realm of public figures, particularly the Princess of Wales's ill-fated foray into advocating for early childhood development at the Future Workforce Summit on November 18, 2025. What was billed as a pivotal moment, her first public address since overcoming a serious health challenge earlier in the year, devolved into a mere 26 seconds of hesitant delivery, filled with vague platitudes about time and tenderness alongside productivity. Attendees and observers alike noted the brevity and lack of substance, with the speech coming across as mumbled and underprepared, as if pieced together at the last minute to fill a slot rather than inspire change. It was meant to rally business leaders on investing in young lives, yet it felt disconnected, relying on filler phrases that, well, diluted any real impact. The sharpest sting here is the hypocrisy at play. Here we have a member of the royal family, whose lifestyle is lavishly sustained by public funds, stepping onto a stage to lecture corporate executives on balancing profit with societal good. All they seem adept at is dipping into the taxpayer's purse, millions annually for security, residences and travel, only to turn around and preach about responsible business practices. What business precisely? Excuse me, ma'am, but have you ever managed a company, navigated market fluctuations, or balanced a budget without the safety net of inherited wealth and state support? It's this glaring double standard that grates advising others on enterprise and workforce development while embodying a system that thrives on unearned privilege. The event itself highlighted this disconnect. Her brief remarks failed to engage deeply with the summit's themes, leaving many to, well, question the value added by such interventions. If the goal was to influence policy or inspire action, the delivery fell flat, mirroring the kind of planning lapses that doom initiatives from the outset. Drawing from voices in the online commentary space, one prominent UK-based creator known for dissecting societal shortcuts has pointed out how figures in elevated positions often dole out advice on efficiency and innovation, despite their own track records of minimal output. This observer emphasizes the irony of individuals reliant on public handouts critiquing the very systems that fund them, noting frequent absences from high-profile gatherings that suggest either disinterest or incapacity. For example, being overlooked for key ceremonial roles hints at underlying disarray within these circles where preparation for public duties appears haphazard at best. Rephrased, his insights underscore a broader critique. These so-called leaders promote ideals of hard work and societal contribution, but operate in a bubble insulated from real accountability. In the context of the princess's summit appearance, this translates to a speech that promised insight, but delivered little more than a whisper, emblematic of setups where expectations outstrip execution. These twin failures, defense vulnerabilities and royal missteps, aren't isolated. They reflect a systemic rot in British planning and delivery. From the corridors of power in Whitehall to the polished halls of royal engagements, there's a recurring theme of under-preparation masked by grandeur. The Defence Report's call for urgent reforms echoes the need for more substantive public contributions from figures like the Princess of Wales. Why preach to businesses about nurturing future generations when your own platform is squandered on superficial utterances? The hypocrisy intensifies when considering the resources at hand. Endless advisors, speechwriters, and funds, yet the outcome is a mumbled snippet that barely registers. Similarly, military planners have access to intelligence and budgets, but opt for inertia over innovation. This setup for failure has real consequences. In defense, it endangers lives and sovereignty. In public discourse, it erodes credibility and public trust. Taxpayers deserve better than to bankroll these lapses, whether it's funding air defense gaps or subsidizing royal lectures on topics they have no practical experience in. The solution? Demand accountability. Invest in robust defense architectures, insist on meaningful engagements from public figures, and bridge the gap between rhetoric and reality. Until then, Britain remains poised on the edge of avoidable disasters, from the skies above to the stages below. To combat this, policymakers must prioritize integrated systems that incorporate anti-ballistic capabilities and collaborative European efforts, as outlined in expert analyses. Likewise, royal interventions should evolve beyond token appearances. If advising on business, demonstrate expertise or step aside. The commentator mentioned earlier also suggests scrutinizing these patterns more closely, advocating for transparency in how public money translates to tangible benefits. Without such shifts, the cycle persists. High expectations met with low delivery, a national habit that's as unsustainable as it is infuriating. In conclusion, the UK's air defence shortfall and the Princess's summit stumble are symptoms of the same malaise, poor foresight and execution at the highest levels. It's time to dismantle this setup for failure, replacing it with competence that honours the public's investment. Anything less is not just negligent, it's a mockery of the nation's potential.